Alright, so this video is a continuation of the first video I did, the one before this one that I made mention of, the new timeline that Nigeria is going into, which is the timeline of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. So I mentioned that the planetary ruler or the energy for Nigeria, not any other country, I don't know, I'm looking doing for Nigeria. For Nigeria is Jupiter. That's the planetary energy. So we are going to be seeing so much of the indications that Jupiter points to, which is expansion, abundance. You understand? But I mentioned these things in the first video. I need to emphasize on the word abundance here. Although there are certain principles that if I apply, you might not really see all of that stuff playing out, to be very honest, on the scale in which you people would think that stuff is supposed to play out. And what I mean there is, this is using Hellenistic astrology, and India has the sun below the horizon, so Jupiter is not that guy for us right now. Maybe when we get to, maybe that will be like, that's about maybe 5 to 6 years from now. That will be about 5 years from now. Then we might see the fullness of that energy of where money is really going to flow in. But nonetheless, those whose Jupiter happens to be their benefic in the country, that is individuals, they are going to be able to tap into this energy. Is going to be very, very profitable. It's going to be very, very very good for them. You understand? Very, very beneficial for them. But regardless, Jupiter is still Jupiter. So let me not really shrink it down to the Hellenistic astrology principles or the laws that follows how these things operate. But Jupiter is still expansion. And what do I mean by expansion? Like I said in the first video, talking about invasion, foreign invasion, imperialism, colonialism, there's a new wave of it coming, and it's coming in very strong. We are just so fortunate that the last Saturn and Jupiter conjunction happened in the sign of Aquarius, which is the sign of revelation, but it then happened in the 8th house, you understand, which is the place of death. So we've been seeing massive killings, even one occurred recently. Those things have been playing out so far. You understand my point? So, but before I get further into that, I want to now talk about the things that I didn't mention in the first video, which is Jupiter being in Cancer, which is a very beneficial energy for women. Yes, it's a very beneficial energy for women. And what do I mean by that? That's Cancer. Cancer is women. Jupiter is currently in Cancer. By transit right now is what I mean. Jupiter is currently in Cancer. And where Jupiter is now in Cancer is where Nigeria has Mars. Mars is ambition, his enthusiasm, his drive, is that burning fire, that burning desire you have to, go and get something. You understand what I mean? Yes, that is what that stuff is. So we're going to see a lot of women become very ambitious under this transit. And like I said, there's going to be an awakening of women. You understand? And people are like, oh, we are praying for that to come. Yes, that's like the first wave of it. The second wave of it is going to be when Uranus moves into Cancer. Uranus is actually the sign of realization, awakening, revelation. So when you move into the sign of Cancer, women are going to be waking up like mad, like crazy, because it stays in the sign for 7 years. So women are going to have 7 years of awakening. You understand? Right now, on a collective scale, on a global scale, right? Rather is Uranus is in Gemini, which is Gemini is the sign of the mind. So on a global scale, now everybody's awakening. Whether to do propaganda, because the last Jupiter and Saturn synod cycle, or rather conjunction cycle, because I like to use that word because I'm talking to most of my audience are people that are not very, very good in astrology. So I like to use conjunction cycle to be able to understand it. But that cycle is called a synod cycle. But to avoid complicated things, I'll say a conjunction cycle, because it's where two planets meet, where they conjoint. You understand? Where they conjoint is what the conjunction cycle is about. And that happened in the year 2020. I think in December 2020, yes. It happened in the sign of Aquarius. And like I said also on Facebook, we are looking into Jupiter and Saturn synod cycle, conjunction cycle being the very indicator of what the next wave of migration globally is going to be. But in Nigeria, if you follow me on Facebook, you see that post I made. Yes, in Nigeria, that particular conjunction cycle was not just for Nigeria, but in Nigeria, where Aquarius is in our own space is in the 8th house. But then it happens it happened in the sign of Aquarius, which is the sign of the people. Aquarius is a nation. The people who are in a nation, you understand? That's what Aquarius is. And we see the Nigerian people, it's Aquarius, the nation Nigeria, the people, you understand, of Nigeria, the nation Nigeria. The migration pattern changed. Why? Because as of the time this conjunction happened here, the ruler of Aquarius, which was Uranus, was in Taurus. Taurus is money. Taurus is economy. You understand me? Taurus is money. Taurus is economy. And this happened in the what is it called? This happened in the 11th house of Nigeria, which is detachment, because that's what Aquarius is. So right here, it's more like financial detachment from the benefiting the population of Nigeria, or the people. That mindset was actually what was prevailing. So it was like my own personal economics. You understand? It's not, I don't care about what the people is going through. I just want my own. So guess what? Everybody was jackparing to a different land altogether. A different land altogether. And you have to understand that in that sign cycle, Jupiter is also advertising. It's advertisement, and it's also propaganda. It is dogma. So despite that stuff happening and Uranus still being here, the Jupiter motion, the Jupiter influence was being used to push adverts on YouTube, on various platforms, on why you should migrate to Canada, how you can get admission to school in Canada, how you should get admission in Canada. So people were working their visa there. The Chinese didn't bother. Why I'm mentioning the Chinese? Because that is their energy, Aquarius. This sign happened here, so our migration pattern was supposed to follow this indication. But because everybody was thinking of me, and the propaganda again that was being pushed, the Chinese were not bothered about running advertising for you to come to the nation. But if we knew astrology, I didn't even know astrology then. Looking at it now, we made a very big mistake going to the West. Because you are going to go there and consume a lot of GMOs, I guarantee you. Which is funny because that's what Aquarius is. Aquarius is artificial, and which is ruled by Uranus, and it was in Taurus when this conjunction cycle happened. So artificial food. So our destination was in a land where artificial food was predominant. Obviously, Taurus is food. Uranus is artificiality. So our destination was a land. Taurus is land. You understand? Land. That where artificial food, was predominant. It's funny because Nigeria has Venus on Scorpio, that's death. Artificial food, death, but everybody was just going there. If I had known this thing then, although back then 2020 actually wasn't really a popular thing, so I mean, even if I had said anything, people won't still have listened. Even now that I'm seeing this on this channel, it's going to take like years for people to even resonate on what astrology is, to even discover this channel and begin to be like, oh, so someone has been saying this for years. But that's not the point. I just want to be putting out this information there. But the way this thing played out, this Aquarius, we still have that chance, to be honest. We still have it. We still do have that opportunity. But migration pattern, I said on Facebook, Jupiter is a planet of migration. Saturn is pattern. So migration pattern. When you see all these international bodies coming up with keywords that they used to explain things, it's a migration pattern. They're telling you that they are using astrology. This thing is not hard. They are telling you that they are using astrology. But if you don't know, you will not understand what is going on. When they say migration pattern, every country experienced the Jupiter and Saturn conjunction in 2020 in the sign of Aquarius, but it was in different places. So it's ruled, it was the governing factor for what is going to be their mentality on where to migrate. You understand what I'm saying? What is going to be their mentality for where they're going to migrate? We missed the opportunity to migrate to a place where we're supposed to tap into technology to come back and revive our economy and change our economy, which is still the same thing that Uranus in Taurus points to. Taurus is economy. Uranus is change. It's revival. You understand what I'm saying? It's revolution. That technological revolution that but we fell for the propaganda and the advertisements of Canadian visa, getting admission in Canadian schools, getting admission in American schools, and all that stuff, UK stuff, all that stuff, because they are the guys that are running this stuff. They are the hidden powers. As far as Nigeria is concerned, they are the colonial masters. And their hidden influence is still seated there. Nigeria has Venus in Scorpio. Venus is the government. You understand me? Venus is the government. So the government is sitting right within the space of hidden powers. You get what I'm saying? Sitting right within the space of government of hidden powers. So other indications here too, for this moon's energy coming back. I wanted to say this because it's still fresh on my mind. I said I was going to leave it for later, but it's fresh on my mind. I needed to just say it. Our migration pattern, see that particular event in 2020 displayed our migration pattern. Ever since then, Saturn only moved from there to Aries. It's in Pisces now, though it did a retrograde. It's in Aries now. It's in Pisces now, but it has moved into Aries. It just did a retrograde back into Pisces. So Jupiter is currently in Cancer because it's the fastest. So it's the planet that controls the motion of that particular energy. This is the law of how that stuff works. It's the planet that controls the motion. Because it's the faster one. It moves faster than Saturn. So it's the one that is controlling that motion. And currently now, that invasion and all that stuff, we are migrating. They are invading. We are migrating. It's all the same energy that has already taken form. And this is the thing with Saturn. Saturn gives form to things. Whether mentally, whether physically, financially, Saturn gives form to things. That energy has taken form in a sign of Aquarius in the year 2020. You understand me? So, on a collective scale, which is the sign of Aquarius, on a collective level, Aquarius is the collective, the people. On a collective level, our mentality is to jackpot. We are not sitting down to assess where should we jackpot. People, we should be talking about going to China. Learning how these people do stuff and see if we can set up, find a way to, build machines that we can bring back here and use to begin to manufacture things. But no, nobody's thinking on that level, because how the energy is going to play out is based on our level of consciousness. As funny as that sounds, as much as this is written, one thing people need to understand with once something is written is that Aquarius points to unconventionality. In the sense, could be unconventional sexual desires, which could be, well, if that's your mentality, that's what you're going to manifest. But if your unconventionality, your tendency to manifest unconventionality in the Aquarian sense is in technological aspect, you're going to be more inventive, because Aquarius is invention and innovation. You're going to be more inventive and more innovative, and innovative ideas are going to come. That is a technology idea that has not crossed anybody's mind, and nobody thinks someone will even think to that extent. Is what you're going to be bringing out. So your level of consciousness is going to dictate how that energy is going to play for you. This is why I see why they invest so much in our education system, because even when we see a beneficial energy, we will only be able to harness the lower vibrational aspect of that energy if the universe gives us an opportunity, instead of harnessing the fullness of that energy. This is the purpose of the dogma and all of that stuff they are doing. The colonial system of education, the hijacking of our education system, all that Saturn and Jupiter cycle, it happens every 20 years approximately. As either 20 or 21 years, it happens approximately every 20 years. Then there's a big cycle, 60-year cycle. You understand? There's a 60-year cycle again. The last one happened in the sign of Taurus, if I'm not mistaken, right? The last sinus cycle, if I'm not mistaken, happened in the sign of Taurus. Is that correct? It should have moved like this. So it was more of an economic thing. It was more of an economic thing. No, is that Taurus? I don't think it's Taurus. Anyways, in another video I'm going to talk about that, but I think it was Taurus. I had done the calculation for this stuff before. Then this one now happened in but if you look at it from Taurus, it doesn't even rhyme, because by the time Jupiter would have moved one sign per year 12 times, Saturn will move about 5 signs, and it would have moved about 5 signs or 4 signs by the time Jupiter had gone like this. So There's no way to have moved from here. But nonetheless, we saw all of the economic capture, our banking system, everything was. In fact, that particular sinus cycle is a very major sinus cycle. Any astrologer that knows this is going to tell you. Is going to tell you. Now, this is what we are looking at. This particular stuff here is showing our migration pattern. But coming back to the Jupiter in Cancer sinus cycle, the Jupiter in Cancer transition, because Jupiter is an energy for the year. Jupiter is an energy for the year. Jupiter is education. It's in the sign of Cancer. Women are going to want to further their education up to master's level, PhD level, PhD level, yes, up to the point of achieving higher degrees, becoming professors and all of that stuff. In the realm of education, we're going to see women are going to be so ambitious. You understand? In going above and beyond when it comes to their own personal life. We're going to see women become very more confident, because that's what Jupiter is confidence. You understand? Jupiter is confidence. Jupiter is your ability to overcome. You understand? Your ability to go above and beyond, to overcome. It is also victory. You understand me? It's also victory. So this particular placement still points to victory for women. In any way that this points to. Because as the moon is in Aquarius, like I said, we are likely going to see a protest from women. The nature of that protest is what I don't know. But it will definitely have something to do with their personal rights. To have something to do with their rights. That's still what Aquarius is. Aquarius is human rights. It's human rights. So, like I said, Mars is ambition. We're going to see a lot of women being very, very, very ambitious, having that confidence to want to, better their life. You understand me? To want to better their life. We'll also see women enroll in the military too. You understand me? We're likely going to see a lot of women enrolling in the military sector, including civil defense, including the army, including the police. Women are going to be very ambitious in doing this track, and we'll just enter the energy where that stuff is going to peak. It's going to be at its peak. You understand? And those who celebrated 1st of October, you're in places where it normally rains. 1st of October, people saw the rain now. So, it's not play. When I was predicting now, when Jupiter moves into Cancer, there's going to be crazy flood this year. At least we are still in some part of the rainy season. We are in harvest, but rain is still going to be falling. So, we are likely still going to be experiencing more floods until the rainy season goes. This October too the rain is looking like it's going to be still going to be around for some time. The rain might not go early this year because of this timeline that we are in. The rain might not go early this year. That is one of the things. Last month's timeline, when the Aries, last month's monthly energy was Leo. So we moved from the Leo to the Sagittarius to the Aries timeline. You understand? Within that 30 days cycle. And within the Aries timeline, Aries was already here in Scorpio. So the fact that it was here means that it activates every planet that sits here, including Venus and Neptune. Neptune is flood. Rains that fall for long hours. And they eventually result into flood. It's Neptune. Yes. Yes. So, that stuff happened towards the end of the month of last month. You saw that stuff happen. I just didn't want to talk about it. But immediately I saw what was happening, I knew what actually triggered that stuff. The same way Jupiter coming into Pisces means that Aries, which is in Pisces, when Nigeria is Pisces, is going to be active. Sorry, not Aries, Mars. They are the same actually, but Mars is the planet, yes. It's Mars I'm talking about. So, Jupiter being in Cancer means Mars is going to be active on a steady. And what this means is women enrolling for fitness classes, more like Jupiter is the gym. You understand me? Gym, exercise. Women are going to be enrolling in gyms this period a lot. That's also that placement. That's also what it means. This thing means a lot of things. It's why I even did a second video for that, which is this video. So, this year's energy is so much that's going to be happening. So, I'll just be doing, I might do 1 more or 2 more videos to cover all of these things. You understand me? Yeah? So, I still won't even cover everything, but I'll be able to give out a lot of information. So, those that are watching me that need information to know period is going to go is like that. There are people that trust my predictions a lot because I keep getting clients coming back and tell me, well, that thing you said was going to happen that time, it happened. Why? Because I looked at the energy they were in for the month and I read. I see this is what is going to be playing out for you this month. This is what to expect. This is what to look out for. Prepare for this when it's come. This is what you should do. So when I make posts like this, there are people that don't, those ones, they don't take it for granted. So they still come. They have to still, get this information out there. And if you're watching, please, you enjoy the productions, you enjoy my information, hit the subscribe button. You can share the video, like the video. You can comment. Fine, these are the things that is going to help the video to push someone. If you want my channel to do very well, that's the least you can do. So, Jupiter being in Cancer means that Mars is going to be active. What that means is still violence against women is still going to go out of hand. Still, but also on the other side of things, women being very ambitious, women enrolling for gym classes, women thinking, oh, it's like this thing is looking bad for us. All of a sudden, it seems we are going to be, enrolling for self-defense classes. This is that women are going to be very inclined to want to go into that stuff. Yes, women are going to be very inclined to want to enroll for self-defense classes. You see women enroll into the military, police, civil service. You see all these things. Women are going to be going into those fields very well. And also another thing I just remember to talk about, because there was a former Nigeria star whose sister died of an accident and all that stuff. Jupiter being in Cancer, yeah, good. We have to look for where the moon is, because the moon rules Cancer. Where does Nigeria have the moon? Nigeria has the moon in Aquarius, which is a sign of accidents and crashes and great impacts, collisions. Collisions is what Aquarius is. You understand? So, as Jupiter is here, more like it's pulling the string, because he's the ruler of the year, of the timeline, from October till next year, September 30th. It goes off. Then another guy picks up. You understand me? Another guy picks up. So, or another planetary energy picks up. So the fact that it's here means these strings is being pulled. The moon is dancing to the tone of what Jupiter is doing here. Don't forget, Jupiter is in its exaltation. So as the moon keeps moving, we are going to be seeing things that the moon, as the moon carries influence throughout the zodiac, we are going to be seeing certain events play out. We are going to be seeing certain events play out. So in this place, accidents, crashes, plane crashes, because Jupiter is the planet of transportation. And the sign that it sits in, the ruler of that sign is in the sign of airports and plane crashes and collisions and impacts and falls from greater heights. Something an aircraft might just lose, which is still crash, to just fall from that point where it is and it crash. These things, we are likely going to be seeing a lot of them. Are likely going to be seeing a lot of them. So, also I mentioned the epidemic thing in the first video. Good. You guys should go and watch that first video too. I think I'll put the link in the description. You guys should watch that one too. And also with Jupiter being in Cancer, also I mentioned education too, and relief. Women also volunteering for relief programs, more like Red Cross, all of that stuff. You will also see women engaging in acts of generosity, more like an outreach to maybe internally displaced person, or the needy and all that stuff. Yeah, you see women doing all that stuff. And like I said in the last video, I'll still go to repeat it again. Women, if you're into restaurant business, this is the time. This is the time. Run your adverts. You understand? Any woman at all that is in any kind of business at all, please run adverts this period. You need to run an advert for your business. Advertising is going to be in a lot of women's favor this period. Run adverts. Be out there. Come out. Be confident. Stand for that thing you're selling. Stand for that stuff you're selling and run an advert for it. You see, also I think I saw something in the news I saw something in the news recently about one state governor attempting to increase the salary of some workers like that. I told you people in the last prediction that this year is looking a year for government. I don't know whether it's federal or state or local. I just know there's likelihood that salary is going to be increased. And I mentioned these things. I mentioned it. There's one state governor somewhere that was increasing salary of some people. They were paying 19,000. He wants to increase it to 20 something thousand, I think, something of that nature. So, like I said, the government might not be inclined to increase salary because it's not interested. It's not interested in increasing salary. It's not even interested in making lives better. As far as we know, it's obvious. You understand? We are not seeing any policy or law that has benefited us. Things keep increasing and all that. But this indication here, it gives indication of increment in salary. And I will not say because the energy does not lie. I don't care how the government is, how they like to position it. That the energy does not lie. We will likely see it. After this year, it might go because the next energy is looking like where there's going to be sanctions and all that stuff. There's going to be sanctions and all that stuff. Where tax is going to go over the roof. Tax is going to go over the roof. It's going to be mad. Banks is going to be taxing you crazy for money for stupid silly things about transactions that don't even make any sense. Silly things about transactions that don't even make any sense. Also, like I said I said Jupiter in Cancer. Some months ago I mentioned it. I said Jupiter in Cancer points to the death of women. Yes, it points to the death of women too. Because Cancer is the 8th place of Jupiter. So Jupiter is currently in his house of death. But it's also in his house of transformation, which is also the place of birth and rebirth. So some women will have to go for some women to rise. Jupiter is a sign of wisdom. When I say women are going to be awakening, that's what I mean. Women are going to be coming to higher knowledge. But Jupiter is a great revealer. So women are going to be, you understand, coming into a higher knowing of things, higher knowledge of things, things being revealed to women. Women are also going to be taking the front stage of exposing certain things within our society that people didn't really pick up on, or people just feel like it's not important. If women are not talking it, the people that is affected are not talking about it. What they concern or something. Wisdom is what Jupiter is. Jupiter is exposure. It is revelation. It is a great revealer. It's in the sign of women. So you're going to see women put on these attributes, these tendencies. You're going to see them, coming in this energy very strongly. But like I said, some will die. And some will rise to prominence. That is the price. These things have to be balanced. Some women will go. And some women will rise to prominence. This is the law. This is the law. I've said that before on my Facebook. I said that some women are going to die. It's not a bad thing. Because that's the energy of the 8th place of anything. It's transformation. It's not the transformation that brings about, leveling up, upgrading. No. This transformation points to something dying for something to be reborn. This is the way that energy works. This is the way that energy works. So, also Jupiter is the planet of having children. So we might likely see, high rate of fertility in women too. Yes. We'll see a high rate of fertility in women. Women are going to be giving birth this period, just ease, with ease, Those that go to church say giving birth like the Hebrew women. But yes, you understand what I mean, right? Yeah, that's that placement there. It's the planet of having children. It's the planet of abundance, ease, benefit, So having children with ease is what a lot of women are going to be experiencing this period. But if you ask me, I would say if women want to even stage any protest, women should stage a protest on issues concerning the nature of the health sector. It's going to come out well. Yes. You see, I should advise women should stage protest on the condition of the health sector. Money needs to go to that sector. Money needs to go to that sector. You see. So, I think I've talked about quite enough in this video. So other videos too, I'm still going to be doing a follow-up video to actually complete this particular series. But the energy is Jupiter. Energy is Jupiter. Like I said, the energy is Jupiter. So it's Jupiter. About this whole invasion thing. Okay, there's one more thing again about deities. Yes, I mentioned something on Facebook about deities. This invasion thing is just everywhere, guys. This timeline is going to be the peak of it. What I mean, if it is mass invasion, if you're listening to me, if it's local security, your community needs to have. There has to be a resistance. Because where Jupiter is sitting now in the Nigerian space, that is where Mars originally was. So Mars is also active. The fact that this energy is active means Mars is active. In case I have not said that, I don't want it to be like my channel is just all about, but I'd like to tell people this thing so that they know what is coming. So if it's something that you need, if you're looking up to getting my information so you can plan, please get it. Your village chief should watch my channel. Should watch my video. Call them to listen to what I'm saying. The fact that Jupiter is here means that Mars is active. For the whole next year, 30th of September, this Mars is still active. I guarantee you. Mars is killing, is murder, is genocide, assassination, anything you want to think of. Anything you want to think of, which is funny because the way I drew up the chart was the way the time of birth is for Nigeria. Given that Nigeria, the second cusp is in the second sign. The second cusp is ethnicities, ethnic groups, tribes, clans. The invaders are coming to your village. Yeah, it's. Anyway, let me talk about the deities. Jupiter is the planet of deities. Yes, Jupiter is the planet of deities. And what does that mean for us is the fact that those who work with deities, this is the best time for them. Especially those who have been wronged and, have been asking their deities to fight. So it's not because your deities don't listen. People don't understand. Not even the spirits operate outside of the dictates of these things. They do not. That is why those who are in the traditional that want quick money are ignorant people. You don't do that. You understand me? You don't do that. I say this on my Facebook. You have gone to ask for something. You have gone to a shrine or anywhere you believe that works for you. Go and pray. You have made that prayer. That thing that is there has listened to you. It has heard you. But your life is on a clock. And if your clock says that it's in the next 4 months that entity can intervene, it will not intervene before that time. Be patient. It will not intervene before that time. It is here where we live in the flesh. We are so limited in our mind. We think there is a way to bend universal law. These entities know you can't bend that. They are not driven by the same desires that we are driven by. So they are very strict entities. They are law-abiding entities. That is why they are far more advanced than us. People think abiding to universal law is limiting yourself. That's not true. You're going to send yourself into ruins. You see what is happening to the West. Elon Musk is currently pushing against Netflix that is actually saving the country, I guarantee you. The last thing, the straw that breaks the back for a civilization to collapse is homosexuality. Ask anybody that is very grounded in metaphysics. You understand? And understanding esoterics. You understand? Yes, you're able to understand on an esoteric level what the indications of a nation gives of before it dies. A civilization that is about to die. The last event before that civilization dies is homosexuality. Elon Musk is buying time. I guarantee you, United States is gone. He's just buying time. It's just buying time. All that all that stuff. He's just buying time. You understand me? So, like I said, when you ask for something for a date, allow it until it has taken note and it knows when to come in, because it has assessed your celestial clock. As it's looking at you, they are not, as you don't see them, it's the same way they see the aspect of you that your physical eye cannot see. As they are unseen, they are seeing the unseen aspect of you that you, your physical self, cannot see. Yeah? So they've seen your celestial clock. They know the appointed time and date where they are supposed to step in and do something for you. All you have to do is just be patient. Not when you do one and you now wait 1 week, 2 weeks, nothing happens. You will now go and do that one. The second person you will go to will collect money from you. I'm telling you, they will collect money. They will not tell you, they will not let you know that one you prayed to face is in motion. You just need to be patient. They will collect money. You will not still go. That one will collect money and will say, this will don't scam me. Man, I need correct one, correct contact. All that time is going, Oshe. You have passed 1 month, you have passed 2 months, you are looking for correct contact, you're not patient. When the time reaches, that first one is who is going to come in, step in for you. Now, when you now enjoy, when the bountifulness and the abundance now comes, guess who you will now carry things to go and say you want to do Thanksgiving? Is the recent one that did for you before that breakthrough. Because in your mind, you think that is the one that gave you the breakthrough. You don't know that it's the first one. You people you just need to understand. This is not hard. I don't know. I think like this. I have Saturn in Pisces. So my approach to spirituality is a very practical approach. This is why I reason like this. You people need to be patient. When you're doing something, you need to be patient. You ask something for someone of you. Calm down. Calm down. Let that thing do that work for you at its appointed time. It's only time it will take. But that thing that has been answered, forget it. Just go and rest. Go and be doing any other thing you want to be doing. Maybe you can go and check, maybe through any divinational process, check out this thing I did it go? You go. Fine. It has gone away. The answer will fine. Go and do what you're doing. So that when that time comes, you know that is that one that I told that did it, that brought that thing for me. Because Jupiter is the planet of deity. When it is seated in your chart, there's a deity influence seated there, especially if you come from a strong spiritual background. I guarantee you, Jupiter is the planet of deities. I've seen it time and time again. Nobody taught me. This is one of the many things nobody taught me in astrology. I discovered this by myself, and it is correct. I guarantee you it is very correct. I can break down the zodiacal order of why Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius. If I put Sagittarius at the ascendant, I can break down the zodiacal order. I'll tell you why Jupiter is the planet of deities. If you see Jupiter, that's deity. That's a deity. It rules Pisces. Pisces is the sign of spirits. But Jupiter has Pisces in the 4th house. Where does the deity live? They're not in a shrine. Pisces is shrine. Pisces is altar. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. Where does the deity live? In the zodiacal order, the secret of what you're looking for is there. If people think these things are just science, I'm this, I'm that, you're limiting yourself. You don't know what you're doing. In the zodiacal order, the very secret of the very mechanism, the very mechanics of how the universe works, of how the cosmos work, is seated in these 12 signs. You just need to put just put a sun at the ascendant and run it like that. At the first place, and run the chart like that. Your eyes will open. And maybe I'll start a series where I demonstrate these things so that you people understand what I'm saying. Let it not be like I'm making stuff up. But I want to stick to these predictions here because it's very important that I do. So I said that 1st October is the energy where Jupiter starts being in Chasu. All of the deities you think are active, but you're not seeing what they are doing, expect them to become very active. Or you think all the abilities that you think they exist in your town, but you don't see what they are doing, trust me. You see this time that we have entered, you will see their power. Because that is their time. They don't intervene when it's not their time. You don't understand. When the invaders came, blah, blah, everything follows law. Why did your kinsmen collect bribe from the invaders and told them what to do to destroy people spiritually? Why did you are blaming deities? You are blaming deities. Okay. That's why. When you've turned against yourself, you expect the deity to fight for you. You don't know the things your ancestors that installed those spirits said as a covenant. They can't go against that thing because the thing that institute them is what you people call the staff of authority. Sofo in Igbo is what we call it, Sofo. Anything that has been said and instated by the Ofo, there is no deity that can go against what Ofo has instituted. None. And you people know. The deities are not powerful. It is you that have power that rules Ofo. You understand? The power is with you. They can't do you anything except you go against the thing that you said and you insisted with Ofo. Deity can kill you. Yes, because you broke your own law. But the Ofo is not broken. The power of the Ofo is still 100%. It is your own power that reduced. Ofo does nothing happens to Ofo. The deity is not scared of you. It is the Ofo that he sees as an higher authority, not you. You understand that is a fragment of nature. And without the laws of nature, a deity cannot exist. You people know these things now. People know these things. It's why I think to a large extent people underestimate themselves. As an African, do you know what it is? Do you know what it takes to create a fourth dimensional entities? These are what these deities are that we call Lucy. This is what they are. You know what it takes? You are creating something that you cannot see with the physical eyes, but it does something that you see. And you see it manifest in physical reality. If you have the eyes to discern, this thing can only come by means of these very spirits. You know, we are Africans. Let's stop lying to ourselves. We know. Oyibo people cannot create spirits. They cannot. I guarantee you they cannot. That is why they are so big on technology. They are very artificial people. They do not have the genetic rights to create spirits. They do not. It's what nobody will tell you. This is why some of you underestimate yourself so much. You think you came to this life to just look for money and sleep with women. You are still operating your animal consciousness. You think that's what you came for. You don't sit down to think. Who are we to even have authority to create these things in the first place? Who are we to begin? Ask yourself that question. Because some people think that if we are gods, then why did we fall? No, because there's a law. You fucking went against that law. That is why you are punished. Yes. Here's a story for another day. That's a story for another day. Because it's the same, it's still in the same law that gives you power to dismantle a spirit. When it becomes of no relevance. And the spirit can't do anything. The law is the law. Even they are subject to the law. People will be like, so what is this law? The higher power here we are talking about is all of us as a collective. It is our own very nature that we cannot go against. It is fixed. You see, people don't understand these things. When you consider the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, I've said this time and time again, this thing points to aspects in reality that is fixed. There's nothing you can do. So when you hear terms like, words like, change is constant, it's telling you that change is fixed. It's something that is in a fixed position in reality that there's nothing you can do. Because Scorpio is a fixed sign. It's a sign of change and transformation. Aquarius is a fixed sign. It's a sign of change too, an upgrade. That's why I say these two point to different kinds of change. One points to a change that comes about something dying for something to be reborn. That is the kind of change it points to, which is Scorpio. Aquarius does not point to that kind of. Aquarius points to change that comes with improvements and upgrades. Because Aquarius is a sign of upgrades. It's why the time I was talking about rain always affecting our network. You want to understand the fact that even Jupiter is in Cancer. Any rain that falls here, it's like a guitar. You're pulling the string, and there's something. It's like it's a resonance. Jupiter is here, bringing about all of this crazy, rainfall that is like it's going out of hand. And the moon, which rules Cancer, where Jupiter is here in the sign of internet, network, connectivity. You guys understand me? And Nigeria has the ruler of this guy, Uranus, in the second house. That is just for banks. See, that is the first thing that goes. Whew. Bank begin to focus. Their network begins to misbehave. Another thing is all your telecommunications. With all that stuff, those guys, those masts you see, all that stuff. That stuff is Aquarius. These things are affected by rainfall. This is the nature of it in the Nigerian chart. And Chiron is also in that same place. Imagine. When we upgrade, we are still going to be dealing with this thing. It's just not going to be as bad as it is now. But we are still going to be dealing with these things. So like I said, the deities, they are going to be active. They are going to be active, I guarantee you. This is their year, this is their cycle. 12 months non-stop action. They are going to be busy. There are times where you see them, come out and manifest on a full scale. On a very, very, you will see it in the news, don't worry, let me not say much. You will just see one kind random news headline, they'll be like, they say one day he did this, or one day he killed. Talking about killing. That's Mars. Yes, the permission, the right to strike a person to death. They can do that now. In this very period. They can very well do it. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Because this is their time. This is their time. And the moon, which rules Cancer, where Jupiter is nice, in sign of Aquarius. A lot of very strong-headed people. People that like to behave like the rules and the laws of the land does not apply to them. The people that have gone against the laws of the land, the people, Aquarius, that have gone against the laws of the land, Uranus being the ruler of Aquarius in the second house. You understand? I've gone the sovereign law of the land. Leo is the sign of sovereignty. The second house where Leo is in Nigeria chart is land. These are the people deities are going to be striking. And even monarchs too. They will strike some monarchs, yes, I said it. So, some deities of the land are going to strike down some monarchs. I don't know, it could be in southwest, it could be in southeast. Nobody should ask me where. You will see it when it comes out in the news. You will hear, you say, and the deity don't strike it, is fine. You will hear them. So, I think this, I'm going to pause here, so I will do another video, just follow up for any other information that, comes to me. Alright, so yeah, that's it.